All right, welcome everybody. This is your host of the day, Cade Archibald, and very excited to be here with everybody today. We're gonna be going over some really cool stuff. Annie, any special announcements? What do we got coming up over
Yeah,
there?
so we've got session 4 coming up December 3rd and 4th in Salt Lake City. Location to be determined, but we've got some really good places cooking up, so it should be great. So it's going to be a really lovely event. We're going to get all deep into the mindset of the healthcare entrepreneur. So getting into the right mindset to succeed, to make change, to grow. We're going to be talking about live presentations again, so it's time to kind of bring those back. So we've got some really great new presentations we're going to be delivering, some great marketing angles for that. We'll be talking new peptides. We'll be talking psilocybin. All kinds of good stuff. We'll be having deep thoughts on blood chemistry by Dan Kellums. Yeah, we'll be talking melatonin, Regen Med revamps. We'll have Signature Biologics talking about their new FDA approved products, neurotransmitters, kidney essence, the effects of stress. It's just going to be a really great, well-rounded event.
What we're going to be talking about today, it'll be a very concise conversation about how to put in your 90-day plan for 2021 to finish off the quarter. And then this will also create momentum for 2022. So interestingly enough, you ideally want to have your next year planned out already. Well, let's talk about kind of setting goals and objectives. And Cade, maybe you could give people an overall perspective of what EOS is, and then let them know exactly how they can carve out a plan in order to achieve what they want to achieve. And I'll actually share the document that I've created for our teams and that we can go through, and hopefully it helps everybody. And then we'll use the innovation expander as well.
Yeah, EOS, it stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. And so this is where we reached out to them and started working with them. It's been over 2 years now, I believe, and started implementing their systems, their meeting style. It's been really helpful and effective for us to get just make sure that we are like circling back on any items that we go over on the week before, because I think that's one of the most challenging things is the follow through when you all meet up and it's like, hey, you're gonna do this and this and this, and then there's no check and balance on, okay, did all that stuff get done and are we ready to excel to the next level? Because if that stuff's not done, you can't really get to the next level. And so having an organized structure that way with their meeting style, as well as having an accountability chart where as an organization, who you need to talk to for what specific action is also very helpful and productive. And so those are all some different specifics that EOS brings to the table. It's made it really nice. So we use Reagan, you pulled up a Go Wellness tool. Is that what you're wanting to focus on tool wise? I was going to bring up the VTO, but
you can bring up the VTO. Do you have the most updated? You can just bring up the last one too, but yeah, we can show them the VTO. And then the innovation expander is the tool that you use it's like the engine that drives the whole process. So
yeah, I don't have it right here. I was just going to talk about the VTO is where you'll come up with, what are the biggest barriers or obstacles that you're running into, or you can call them an issues list. So you can have 5 to 10 issues that are your main challenges that you're running into on a quarterly basis. And then based on that, you want to assign different projects on how can we solve these? What are some actionable items that we can do to overcome each of these issues? And then you put them into projects at a smaller level and assign them to individuals to help bust those out. So that's kind of how you can that's that's kind of the traction part of VTO. Stands for Vision Traction and or Vision Traction Organizer. Um, so you have your vision, which this is something that everyone should do, and go through this activity where you come up with what are your core values, your focus, what's your 3-year picture as far as revenues, what kind of profits, how you can help patients the most, or whatever your product is, what is it that you're going to be accomplishing, and what's that look like, and how do you differentiate yourself from anyone else that's doing that. And so this is a really really helpful tool to kind of just think about that, really hone it in. And if you guys are interested in working with a EOS coach, we can get you connected with one, or you just use some of our tools and our teachings, and you can probably get it done pretty dang effectively.
Yeah.
So this is a really fun activity to go through with kind of yourself and some other leaders on your team. So that's going to be, if you're just a one clinic organization, then that would be, whoever's, if you're the overall owner working with one of your managers, one of the other leaders on the team, and really diving into this to figure out what you want to have, your core values, your core focus, and some of your targets. And then from there you can figure out, okay, how are we going to market this uniquely, and what are those unique qualities that you have. So that's the vision part of the VTO. And then when you get into the traction, that's where you'll have your issues list, and then we're gonna you create solutions and goals that are gonna help accomplish some, kind of cross off each of those issues that you're running into.
There we go.
That explain it pretty well.
I think that's great. And just so you guys know, like, you can download the VTO from EOS. It's a free tool. We've spent, I don't know, $60,000, $70,000 in implementers. It's been money well spent, because now what we have on our teams is a consistent process where we all have rocks. We have these focuses to help move things up. And then I'll share with you kind of my vision as the visionary. Cade's the integrator as far as the EOS systems go. So I'll share with you kind of the vision that I've got in the next quarter. And hopefully this is a brainstorming exercise. And some of you doctors don't like that. You just like us to say, do this, do it this way, this way, this way. But this is actually a brainstorming idea opportunity of this webinar, because you can actually start seeing where you can improve in your office system. So get the book Traction Tools by Gino Wickman. Become a strategic coach client with Dan Sullivan. These are two things that you do not want to leave out of your entrepreneurial quiver. And then as you have those tools, and as you actually bring on the right mentors, then the systems and the innovations that we bring to you, you'll just accelerate that much faster. And so, our core values, we're health transformers, we're curious, alert, innovative, and resourceful. We finish what we start. We're relentlessly helpful, and we're happily collaborative. So I want you guys to think about where your struggles are in running an organization, or even if you're a solo provider, solopreneur. Cade, where I see doctors struggle is they don't really take a lot of time to learn how to run a business. They just say, well, more money came in than went out last month, and I'm just going to keep grinding. And they don't see that there's actually a much better way of operating, and that's operating with a team. And this is one of the ways we've been able to build 5 successful clinics, now 6, having a surgical center. I mean, is because we've collaborated, and we've also used the talents of our team in a way where they can take ownership over these rocks and ownerships over the parts of the company. And what happens if we don't let people take 100% responsibility and ownership, Cade? What have you seen in the past?
Um, yeah, it creates a lack of accountability, a lack of transparency. It creates like more of an us versus them mentality as opposed to when people own something, and they feel that sense of ownership, they're a lot more likely to be chasing after that goal or whatever we're trying to accomplish. Feels a lot. It just feels much better as an individual. Think about it from your own perspective. If you're just being told what to do all the time versus, hey, here's the goal and objective, how do you think we can accomplish this? And then, okay, you're owning that, can you make sure that actually happens?
Right.
Feels really nice.
Yeah, because then there's no need to micromanage. I mean, we just tell people what needs to be done. We don't tell them how it needs to be done, right? It's Dan Sullivan's Who Not How. A lot of people know, well, a lot of people ask, well, how do you want me to do it? I'm like, well, I don't know. What we don't care about the how, we care about the result at the end of the day. We'll give you systems to follow and you got to follow those systems, but you might want to do things just a little bit differently to get that result. And that's totally fine, because I can tell you in our clinics, I worked with Carly closely, Andy, Misha, 3 different case managers in the last 7 days. And they all have their own way of going about it. When Annie was a case manager, she just would crush it. She had her own way of going about it. And so, yes, she'd train other case managers and they do a phenomenal job, but then pretty soon it's kind of like the Picasso quote is good artists copy and great artists steal. When you steal something, now it belongs to you. And so this is what you've got to let your team do, is actually steal things from you. Not in a corrupt way, but hopefully you guys understand the concept is where they steal that role and they take extreme ownership over the results of your clinic. And you just set the goal. You say, here's what we need to do. And then they can figure out the how. Most of us, we micromanage because we want everyone to know exactly how it needs to be done.
Yeah. No, and I think there is value there if someone does not understand how they can. That's where you can kind of jump in and get your hands a little bit dirty, but
right. That's like the 90-day at least training a year for medical providers minimum is what I find, is where you teach them enough of the hows that then you can say, okay, now you got the hows and the what. So that's a good point, Cade. But someone who's been with us for a couple of years, we don't even want to tell them how. Like, that's dangerous.
Yeah. No, very true.
Hey everybody, Reagan Archibald here with Go Wellness. And if you liked this episode, if it actually helped inspire you to be a better practitioner, help more people, establish a much better foundation for your business, then I'm going to ask a favor of you. And that favor is for you to share this with somebody you care about and love in the healthcare field. I don't mind if it's an acupuncturist, a functional medicine practitioner of any sorts, a naturopathic doctor, a medical doctor, any type of endocrinologist or specialist. We need to get this community strong, and we can't do it without your help. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work you're putting in and day out. I know it can be a grind, especially with some of the chronic cases that you're treating, but this show will help transform the way that you think, help transform the way you practice, and change the lives of thousands. Thank you for being part of our community.